The future of black activism and people holding signs, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, abolish ICE. Wide aerial shots of massive 2020 demonstrations. Close-ups of faces, grief, anger, determination. In the summer of 2020, the world stopped to watch America. Millions flooded the streets demanding justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless other black lives stolen by state violence. For a moment, it seemed that everything might change. But movements are not defined by a single moment. They are defined by what comes next. Inheritance Martin Luther King Jr. at the March on Washington. Malcolm X delivering speeches. Angela Davis speaking about liberation. Black activism has always been an inheritance of struggle, of brilliance, of radical imagination. Each generation faces the question, how do we make freedom real? Interviewer OS, what do you think young people today have inherited from previous movements? Historian, they've inherited an unbreakable commitment to truth and a willingness to confront power, no matter how big. But they've also inherited trauma, fatigue, and the unfinished work of liberation. The new guard, a teenager speaking into a megaphone. A volunteer packing mutual aid boxes. A college student live streaming a protest. Today's activists look different than any who came before. They are decentralized, digital, and driven by an intersectional vision. They are not waiting for permission to reimagine what is possible. Amani Carter, organizer, age 22. Amani, when I was 15, I thought activism meant holding a sign. Now I see it as building systems that care for us when institutions fail. Tell us about the first time you felt like you were part of a movement. From streets to strategists testifying before a city council. Small group trainings on policy advocacy. What happens after the crowds go home? Some activists choose to run for office. Some create policy blueprints. Some build networks of mutual aid and community defense. Young city council member, we learned quickly that protests open the door, but policy is where you walk through. So we drafted legislation to reallocate policing funds to mental health services. It's not enough, but it's a start. The digital frontliners for Generation Z, the internet is both a weapon and a battleground. Hashtags spark uprisings. Live streams expose injustice in real time. But platforms also amplify disinformation and burnout. Strategist, social media makes it easier to organize, but it also means you're always on. The challenge is to keep people engaged without exhausting them. Intersectional futures. This generation refuses to separate struggles. Racial justice, economic justice, gender freedom, climate action. All are woven together again as our liberation is bound up together. There is no black freedom without trans freedom. There is no justice if the planet is unlivable. Care is resistance where older generations were taught to endure. This one is learning to heal. To care for themselves and each other. To build a culture where rest is a strategy, not a luxury. Therapist, activism isn't sustainable if you're pouring from an empty cup. We teach organizers that caring for themselves is not selfish, it's revolutionary. Obstacles and backlash. Progress has never been linear. In every era, backlash follows gains. From voter suppression laws to attacks on critical race theory, systems of power are adapting to survive. Policy expert, we're witnessing a coordinated effort to criminalize dissent. But history tells us, no repression has ever fully extinguished the fire of resistance. Global solidarity struggle for black liberation is not bound by borders. From the NSAS protests in Nigeria to anti-racist movements in Brazil, a global generation is rising. Activist, when we say Black Lives Matter, we mean everywhere. Our struggles are connected. Building the future. What does the future look like? It looks like collective leadership. It looks like communities taking power back. It looks like joy as defiance. What is your vision for liberation? Amani, my vision is a world where our worth isn't up for debate. Where black kids grow up knowing their lives are sacred. The work continues. The dream endures. A generation is not just demanding change. They are creating it. They are the future, and the future is now.